just getting the PowerPoint started for you all so we can get it ready. And get this muted for Okay, so thank you so much for all taking the time to be here today. We are going to talk a little bit about our upcoming meeting here in May. We're looking forward to having you all attend our upcoming legislative mid-year meeting for Women's Council of Realtors, and we have a lot going on at the council. I'm Heather Osier, your 2019 president, and it's truly an honor to be able to spend some time with you all today and talk about the future of what this is going to look like and see where we can go. So just want to make sure, can everybody hear right now as I'm talking?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for letting us know.
Yeah.
I have a couple of messages that people can't hear, so I just want to make sure that people can hear, so that's fabulous. Great. So good to hear that everybody can hear. So we are obviously doing our first Zoom call ever. So this is the first time we've done it in a live video format. We actually did this with our Leadership Institute a few weeks ago when we did some training with them. And so we realized this is sort of a different and fun way to do it, as well as you get to see me here in beautiful Palm Springs, California. It's probably about 98 degrees here. Thankfully, I'm inside in the cool temperature, so it makes it a lot easier. And we get to move forward with this. So one of the things we ask of you is if you can keep your side on mute. And hold on, Shift A. Can everybody, so we just want to make sure that you're all muted so that you can hear everything that's being said. If you have a question, there is a chat that you can put something in there and ask a question. We will be opening it up so that you all can talk at some point and ask questions that you have along the way. So please help us with this. Again, it's a new way, new technology that we're using in this sense. Other people have done Zooms before, but we want to make sure that we make it easy for everybody to hear what's happening and see what's going on. This also will be recorded so that anybody who was unable to be here will be able to participate in the process. So let's get started. So in mid-February, we came out, we gave you an update of what's happening and going on, and there's a lot that's happening here at the council. And we want to sort of give you an update so you can understand where we are in the flow of our strategic plan that you approved in November of 2018 in Boston. So an update in regards to some of the key points of what we were talking about. We did hold a presidential advisory group, otherwise known as a PAG, specifically on our state networks and how they operate. We did that in March in Chicago, and obviously as we discussed, the purpose was exploring the model and how it looks and how it relates to their state networks and how they relate to local networks and within national. And we had a great group of leaders come in. The presidential advisory group was made up of representation from one large state, one medium state, a small state, and also a state that does not have any network in it. We had 2 representatives from the exec team. We had your 2019 leadership team, plus immediate past president Joanne Stevens there, and we had staff as well. And we took, working with Jim DeLizia, who's been a constant with Women's Council for years and a great facilitator, we worked with him to discuss many different ideas and models and how the state can best look and represent itself in our future and going forward. We got some great ideas, some great launching points. We will be taking the information from that PAG and sitting down with our exec committee, which is also a huge body that works on strategic initiatives within the council. And we will move forward with them and really align out some ideas. We are not launching anything in regards to this in May. We are still working through it because we want to create the best model for the state networks that can be. And so not ready to completely launch this into a formal recommendation yet. However, we're getting there. So we're looking forward to making that happen for you. And so definitely stay tuned. And our commitment to you as you see that we are being very transparent in regards to this process. So just be aware of that. We also, when we talked in February, talked about the partnership with the National Association of Realtors to organize a grant program to support a women in real estate efforts in regards to the local and state associations across the country being able to put on women-driven events about women in leadership, women in brokerages, anything to do with empowering women in real estate. And so we asked you at the local and state levels to reach out to your local and state association of realtors to see if they will be willing to put an application in for the grant, which is a grant of $25,000 from the National Association of Realtors, and we have five $5,000 grants to give away. We are blessed that we got 15 applicants for that program, and we were working to select 5 that will be given the grants, the 5 different grants, and we'll be announcing that at mid-year. So we're definitely looking forward to that. Remember to keep yourself on mute if you can, because we can definitely hear background chatter. So if you're not on mute, just take a second to look to make sure you're on mute. Thank you so much. So we're definitely looking to announce the grant winners, and that is exciting for us. The other piece that we launched this year was, as I talked about earlier, was the Leadership Institute class. And that is our inaugural class, and it's very, very exciting. And they are off and running. There's 15 participants. So if you are interested in participating in this program for 2020, the application process will launch in May for the class of 2020. And we'll each year at this point, we're accepting 15 applicants for the program. So that's one of the couple of the exciting things that we're working on. So let's get to one of the hot topics that's happening for us right now. And so the hot topic that's happening for us that we have taken on, which is the website. So it's been a huge transition for us. And obviously, we want to acknowledge that we know there has been some short-term issues with the launch. It has not necessarily been an easy road to make this happen, and we really appreciate your understanding. And it's especially been tough on anybody who's been a website administrator. I want you to understand that we are working on solving these problems, and I'll get into some details how we're doing that. I just want you all to have an understanding of why we did what we did. It wasn't a short-sighted idea. It wasn't misled. This was a really purposeful reason why we moved forward in this. So in October of 2017, our longtime database provider, so there's 2 pieces here. We have a website and the background that runs all the things that the local and state that you want to know about membership. So what used to be called chapter membership are now known as network management tools. That's all run off the database. And so our database provider let us know that with very little warning that they were going to, in 9 months, shut the entire database down. And that unless we continued to work with them and went to their new database, which actually didn't match our needs, and we did not have a lot of good technology behind it, and was going to be extremely expensive, that unless we went with them to do this, that they, in 9 months, were going to shut us down. No database, which is the backbone of everything we do at Women's Council of Realtors. And so with that, we went on a very thoughtful, albeit quick, investigation to find a new database provider. And we did that. As well as when we were doing this, we also took on the fact that if we had to do a new database provider, we had to also do a new website. Our website was over 12 years old. So that is the process that we did. So we did get a new vendor for the vendor, and that is Fontiva. And they're well known in the industry because they are built on a Salesforce platform. And we wanted to make sure that this was key to what our members needed and the tools that they could use in a database. Anybody that has used Salesforce as a platform knows that it's an excellent database, and it has so many tricks and tools behind it that can really help. So again, that's the reason why we had to do this. This wasn't a, let's just do this because it's time to do this. It really was time, coincidentally. However, it wasn't necessarily on our priority or radar list to do. However, we took it on. And so we are glad we took it on, and that it is, the 2 pieces have come together. So the website, I want to say that it is we're very proud of where we are with the website. Website is very mobile friendly. It looks great. It's much more intuitive than it ever is. The issues that you're seeing on your end, if you're a website administrator wanting to do anything to do with the database, is the database issue. And so we're working on getting everything to talk to each other and go smoothly. Unfortunately, as much as we want it to go smoothly, these things are a little tough, and there's been some bumps in the road for us to get there. So again, we are working forward on all the issues. And so this type of planning and the timing of it isn't necessarily ideal. In some sense, we were hoping to launch it in October of November of last year, and just the amount of data that we had to build what we needed to do took more time than we thought. And so here we are today, and again, we did launch that piece. We have taken care of some additional short-term issues over this last weekend. We did shut the website down temporarily so they could work on some more database migration, correct some issues that were there, and relaunched it. And we're seeing definitely a lot less issues in regards to that. So we appreciate all of your patience, and we realize that you're really obviously looking for information on the member rosters to be able to get people to pay and any of that type of stuff. Please know that you can call National at any time, and they're here to help you and walk you through that process. So thank you for allowing me to share a little bit about the background and the specific issues at hand. And we are, again, really proud of the website, how it now looks, and it's definitely more modern, more social friendly. It has a lot more business intuitive skills, and at the end of the day, the local websites, the microsites that you use for your local networks, and now that we are also providing them for the state networks, will definitely help to move you forward. So again, if you have questions in regard to it, please just shoot us an email at National and let us know specific questions that you have so we can move forward. So again, we want you to know that the member rosters have been updated, and even though they're currently not appearing in the admin tab, we can get manual rosters pulled for you as needed. So just let us know if you need help with that. And it is we know that's a critical issue, and it is the #1 issue that our database provider is working on, and we believe we should have a corrected fix in regard to that within the next couple of weeks. We're hoping a week, but let's just cushion that by the next 2 weeks. Again, the micro leadership website for your local, we know that some of the photos are not coming over correctly. Again, that's being worked on. The payment portals, again, are being worked on, and the member finder. So let's talk a little bit about the member finder. You have a great referral, you want to get it out there. Radius is the piece that will be running our member finder piece. It is also used by RRC, otherwise known as CRS, and the ARIA, the Asian Real Estate Association. They do a great job. We're just working on the technical piece, otherwise known as an API, and they are working that piece, and we expect that should be also rolled out within the next 2 weeks. And so again, we're asking for your continued patience and understanding and support as we transition through these issues. You are all incredible leaders for helping us through this process and your understanding throughout it. So thank you so much. Let's move on a little bit to our bylaws changes and what's happening in May. So that is one of the key purposes of the call, and wanted to get down to tax on that. So we've unveiled these proposed changes to you in February, and you all had some great questions at the time, and we worked on refining some of the questions you have and help be able to have the clear proposal we want. Last week, an eConnect article was sent out that gave you an overview as well as provided a fact sheet and a Q&A type of sheet, as well as the lined out proposed bylaws changes. So if you went into that eConnect article, you would have seen something like this, which gives you a little overview of it. You would have also seen the lovely Q&A. That was also on there. And then obviously, more importantly, for those that love to read bylaws down to every single tactic and word, the full set of bylaws are on there, so you can take a look at them and see what's striked out and have a clear understanding of what is happening. So let's go over a little bit of what's in there. We have 4 proposed components of our bylaws changes. The first 2 are completely administrative in nature. First one is the fact that we, in November, as we talked about, we rolled out a new strategic plan. And that meant we also rolled out a new mission statement, which I know you're all using at your local and state networks. So thank you for honoring that. The one key piece we haven't been able to do is that we needed to put it into our bylaws, because our bylaws has our mission statement. So there's an administrative change in the fact that we need to update our bylaws with our new mission statement. So that's an easy one. Second easy one, in the state of Illinois, which is where our corporate headquarters are, they require bylaws to be gender neutral. And the fact is, our bylaws have the word chairman throughout it. It's been a typical word throughout bylaws. Nobody really thought anything of it. We're also a women's organization, so it's time to put that word into a gender neutral word per the laws of Illinois, where we're located, and that word is going to be moved from chairman to chairperson. So then we will be in compliance with any laws of that state that we have. So obviously, two easy ones. That's the easy part. The ones that obviously have importance, really significant importance to our members, is the changes that we presented in February. The first is streamlining the number of regions from 9 to 3, and we're 3 of those, so we're excited about that. And enhancing the role of the RVP, which will be transitioned to the national liaison position. And that change automatic triggers something that at the national level, the exec committee for years has been talking about, and the leadership team have been talking about, is how do we change the nominating committee composition, because it was due to be changed. And that does this change with the RVP to the national liaison, triggers that change for us. And we had groups that looked at how to change the RVP piece. We had groups that looked at the nominating piece, and coming together, this is exciting that we're able to make this change and reimagine how the nominating committee is made up. And it allows it to be much more inclusive and bring in many more different people to the table that have different voices from our organization. And so they can make key decision on what's happening. So the information was shared with you in regards to all this, as I mentioned earlier, in a recent eConnect article, and that's where you can get a copy of the strike-through bylaws that I showed you, the FAQ sheet, and the fact sheet. So make sure that you go back and take a look at that eConnect article, and if you want to read all the details of information that we have for you. So I did show you that screenshot of that proposed, information fact sheet. And you can see on that, it really talks about the benefits, the job description, all the great information. And as you can see, this is what it would look like with our 3 regions. So you have the East, the Central, and the West, and it tells you approximately how many members are in each one. So it gives you a good visual to understand what we're looking to do. So let's talk a bit about why. Because that's always a good question. Why did we take this on? For over 15 years, the RVP program, the Regional Vice President program, has been a beta test. So actually, it's not actually in our bylaws. It's a beta test, something we took on to see if this was something that was going to work. Well, here we are 15 years later, over 15 years later, and it's been studied, it's been discussed, other proposals have been put forward, and it's time to transition this role into something that has leadership depth. And we all agree that it was time to make this happen. The role for some years have been unclear. 9 regions is very complex for a 12,000 member organization. And so we want the role to be elevated and not eliminated. And so that's what we did. So the first year, within our strategic plan, we were very clear this time around with our strategic plan that this was going to be addressed and we were going to take this on. And so with this first pivot, we're proposing the name change. We're proposing changing the name from an RVP to a national liaison. And this name much better reflects the role for 2 key reasons. The word liaison really denotes a facilitator between the parties. And what the current RVP does is that they are a liaison and they are a key piece between the national leadership team and the states, and sometimes if it's a state that doesn't have a state network, sometimes the local networks. So they're a key piece that keeps us bonded together. And obviously having the word national denotes that this is a national role. It's not a regional role. It's not a local role. It's not a state role. It's a true national leadership opportunity. And we feel that this change much better reflects the vision we have for the council and how we want to see this role be for our leaders. We definitely see the role being enhanced, not being diminished. And the national liaison role will have a seat on the executive committee. RVPs currently do not have that. And so our executive committee is a key decision-making body for the council. They come up with the strategic plan. They work on different points throughout the year on what happens to the council, key bylaws changes, key initiatives. And so it's going to be great to have these three people join the executive team and be part of the key decision-making, so that when they are out there, if a member, one of the groups within their regions that they are overseeing has questions, they can help talk to some of those points. So that's an exciting piece for us. Really gives, sorry, looking at my talking points for a second. They would also maintain their involvement on the nominating committee. So those three national liaisons in the year that they are serving as national liaisons will stay on be part of the nominating committee of that year. The due structure that we currently have in regards to the whole regional piece, there are some areas across the country that have an assessment as low as $2.25. Some other regions pay up to $7 a year. Most of the country, somewhere 2/3 of the country, it's somewhere between $3 and $5. Regional assessments will be eliminated. So that is a huge savings to our state networks that are paying that, or whether it's being billed directly to a local member. So that's a huge piece to get rid of that. And I know many of our states and obviously locals are going to be happy not to have that type of fee upon them anymore. At our national meetings, we currently have 9 regional meetings. Going forward, the 3 regions will act more as caucuses, which is very similar to how the National Association of Realtors runs their 13 caucuses. Remember, there are 1.3 million members, and 13 caucuses regions make a lot of sense for them. So we'll have more of a caucus format, and so that you can get a feel for that, in November we will set up the regions, the 3 regions, into a caucus format so that you can network with what will be in the future your new 3 regions, East, Central, and West. And obviously, as I talked about, the biggest change in regards to this is going from 9 to 3 regions. So that is exciting. And as I talked about, with the trigger of this, triggers a change in our nominating structure, which is something that we definitely were looking to take on for many, many years. The new nominating committee structure, that's the next step in the bylaws change. That's step number 4, is to change this structure. And that will have 9 members now, with the first being the chair, which is the outgoing national president. The current 3 national liaisons will sit on that. The only reason one of them would not sit on it is if one of them was choosing to run for national treasurer, then obviously we would insert a replacement. 1 past president will serve on it. There will always be 2 alternates for the past president in case the one that has been selected by the past president group can't serve. There'll be 2 exec representatives on the nominating committee with 2 alternates. It'll be elected from the exec committee, and 2 governing board representatives plus 2 alternates elected from the governing board. That gives us a wider body of people who are actively involved at the council to have a voice on who they are slating for future leadership. So let's give you an idea of what this is going to look like in the future, because everybody needs a bit of that visual to understand. This slide definitely shows you, based on our current system, what it looks like, and proposed what it looks like. One of the key pieces you have to remember is that as we move forward, this piece here gives you an idea of how we will continue to move forward. When we changed our election time frame, instead of being in November to May, it allows for anyone that is involved at the national leadership level to get that training that they need to be involved. So just like for the last year when we had in the election last May, we had a treasurer-elect for 6 months. So under the new format and with the national liaison team, you'll see that when we have the national liaison up and running, that there'll be a national liaison elect for 6 months as well. So they will be able to understand their job duties and what happens. One of the pieces you have to remember is at this upcoming May meeting, we are electing 2020 RVPs because we have not approved this change yet. We can't elect the liaisons. So the last year of the RVP program will be for 2020. At this meeting though, when you're meeting in your individual regions, if someone is interested, because we're being positive that this is happening, that someone's interested in being a 2021 national liaison, or someone's interested in moving forward and running for the leadership team, this is the meeting that you need to report to your region that you're interested in doing that, because your regional reps come, your RVP come and meet with our exec committee and the leadership team and let us know who's interested in running. Because if you're interested in running for 2021, and yes, that seems far away, but it's really not when it comes to elections and governance, will be sitting in front of the nominating committee in November in San Francisco for those positions. One of the difference pieces about this is if you're running for a national liaison position, let's say you've selected to run for a national liaison position for Central. Anybody who's interested in doing that will be able to meet in front of nominating committee if they fill out the documents, apply. They will sit in front of nominating again in November in San Francisco. And when that election happens would be in 2020. May of 2020, the 2021 leadership team people, as well as our 3 national liaisons, will be elected by the body at that time. So hope that helps people understand how the timing works. This, again, will be recorded, so if anybody wants to come back and see this information, they can, as well as we'll make sure we post these slides on our website so that you can access them. So at this time, I want to open it up for question and answers. One of the key pieces I do want to remind you all of is that we will be holding a session called Women's Council, The Future is Now, at 10:15 a.m. to 11:15 a.m. on Friday, May 17th. And that will be at the International Ballroom Center on the concourse level. And that is where we are going to sit down with you, just like we did in Boston and rolled out our strategic plan. This is where you'll have the entire leadership team up there, and our CEO Jeff and Jim Delizio will be in the room, and we're going to be there to answer any of your questions that you have in regards to where we're at, what we're doing, and how we're moving forward. So at this time, this is your opportunity to ask questions. So if you were on mute, you can unmute yourself. And first, please let me know your name, where you're from, and any question that you have. So let's open it up. Really, silence? So no questions at this time? Okay. You can also, if you don't, okay, hold on, I'm reading some chat. Okay, 1 second, let me read what's here. Okay, so one of the questions, Rachel is asking me when the website will be accepting new member application and payments. If it's brand new applications, that is working on our website now. If you're having issues, please call National and they will help walk you through that piece. So we definitely want you to be able to sign up new members. Will there be new training on the website is one of the questions I'm being asked here. And the answer is yes, we will be having new training on the website. I believe that's taking place on Saturday. Saturday late in the morning. So make sure you check out the schedule, and we have someone presenting information on the website to give you some training and help. Other questions I can answer for you, again, you can use the chat or you can unmute yourself and ask questions right away. Thank you for the positive feedback. Some of you are putting some great positive comments there, so I really appreciate that. The entire team appreciates that. I see someone wants to talk. Go. Hi.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Let me know who you are and where you're from.
Okay, sure. I'm traveling back from a realtor conference. So, and my name is Jerry Little. I'm the state president for Louisiana.
Hi, Jerry.
And, so I have two questions, actually.
Yes, ma'am.
One, I didn't actually receive the email, so I'm going to respond to this email. Somebody forwarded it to me to make sure I'm on the list to see future emails, and that will take care of that. And then my next question. Oh man, I'm sorry. I forgot my question. It was a good one too. I'll just text you.
You can message you. You can text me. So here, I'll give everybody out my cell phone number. You're all welcome to have it. So my cell phone number is 760-578-1315. So you're more than welcome to text me a question or give me a call. Again,
okay. Well,
national.
I can't believe that. Out of sight, out of mind. All right. Well,
no problem.
Oh, I know what it was.
Yes,
on the Women's Council website, is this material on here? Is that where you're going to post the live? The recording version along with the screenshots? I'm driving, so I'm not able to see any of that. Or are you going to be emailing it out?
They'll post it on the website. The recording, you'll be able to access it as well. The key piece is in eConnect. We did send out the eConnect article, which gave you all the information where you can pull down the FAQ and a fact sheet in regards to Q&A sheet in regards to the upcoming bylaws changes, and you can read through that as well, which has clear details and some great visuals if you need that.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
Thank you for your question.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, anyone else with some questions? One of the questions someone asked is, when we'll hear more about changes to the state networks? The answer to that question is when we actually have the model ready to go. So we're not there yet. We're working on that piece. And so our exec committee meets in June for 2.5 days. And our goal is definitely to finish that piece off so we can move towards that in the fall. And hopefully by November, we will have something ready to present for your approval. So that's where we are in that process. But we will, again, as we clearly showing to you, full transparency in regards to the process. So someone has a question. Hi. No other questions at this time? Okay. So at this time, again, if you have more questions, I'm going to repeat my cell phone number. It is 760-578-1315. And my email is my name, which is heather@heatherosier.com. You're more than welcome to reach out and contact myself, or you can reach out and contact National if you have specific questions for them so that we can make sure we get all those answered for you and help you along this process. And again, one of the key things I would be remiss if I didn't thank you all again. Thank you for your patience and your understanding during the website transition. And the database transition. We know it has not been the easiest thing. This was a huge undertaking that we took on with basically being pressured to do so by our previous providers. So we truly, truly appreciate the fact that you have been understanding and patient. And I know it has not been easy for you as volunteers. However, we are getting through this, and at the end result, with change, it can be tough, but at the end, it's really, truly beautiful, and this will be a beautiful thing at the end. So thank you all for that. So we appreciate your time. We appreciate that you took your time. We had approximately in total at any time between 85 and 90 people on this Zoom call. So thank you for taking your time out of your busy schedules, and appreciate you as leaders, and cannot wait to see you all in Washington, D.C. in just a few weeks. Have a great day, everyone.